Hi, Rachel. Hi,
Hey, everyone.
everybody. Welcome to today's live stream, What's for Dinner? And from Oregon Weight and Wellness, I'm Dr. Julie Gilbert, joined with Rachel Matthews, health coach, and also Jess. Jess is a student that's at George Fox, PA student, and just finishing up her rotation, saving the best for last, I might add.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jess, and since we're all things wellness, I was kind of curious about, that's something I know about Jess is that in college, she was a D1 athlete. She was a gymnast,
Ooh.
so probably once a gymnast, always a gymnast. But anyway, I was kind of curious. So obviously she had a very rigorous, routine and having to take care of herself there. So I was kind of curious what that transition was like between, college and PA school and her self-care. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So I'm Jess. I'm from Arizona. I was on the Arizona State University gymnastics team, and it was pretty rigorous. We had 4-hour practices a day. And looking back, it was kind of like a forced space of physical activity, a forced space of social time, because I was with my teammates, I was with my best friends, and a forced space of separation from school, studying, work, just a mentally free space. And then I graduated, and I didn't have that forced scheduled in time of practice where I got those things. And I was like, wow, I really need to schedule this stuff, because when I work out, when I have mentally free space from my work and study life, when I have time with my friends, those are all really important factors for my mental health. And now, especially when I'm sitting down all day studying, I need to move my body. It's so important. It makes my mental game sharper. It makes me feel so much physically better. Spiritually, I feel better. Like all aspects makes me feel so much better when I move my body. So whether that's a 20-minute run, just getting outside, or if I'm on a clinical rotation and I'm staying at somebody's house and all I have is a pair of 12-pound dumbbells, I can make a workout with that happen. So just using whatever I have in that season of life to move my body. I need to schedule in that time like I had with gymnastics, because I don't have that anymore.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Yeah. So being very intentional, but it just really kind of knowing that was so helpful for you. Yes, intense. Yeah, I'm sure there were things that weren't as fun, but just realizing how moving your body was so helpful for you in so many other ways, and then being intentional about continuing to do something. Maybe it's not your 4-hour workout routine, but it's something.
Yes.
Yeah, great. So being really intentional about doing that. I'm trying to think if I was that intentional when I was in medical school, and I think I waxed and waned. There were times where I was swimming in a pool, or I can remember going to we had workout rooms at the where I went to school. But probably wasn't as intentional as you were.
Well, you are now.
Yes, yeah, much better now. But
also that I heard at least two of the lifestyle of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine pillars.
Yeah.
Right. Exercise combined with connectivity.
Okay.
So networking, friendship, love, connection. And so she had both of those were being hit, right off the bat. You had that built in. And those are huge pieces to our wellness and our thriving.
Yeah.
And so that's big that those were together. And oftentimes when people exercise and they exercise with a friend, they are getting, two birds with one stone, because you're kind of hitting both pieces. And that's my favorite way to do it, is when I can get both of those pieces at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. All right, I might ask you some more questions as we progress in our talk, but thank you for that. But before we jump into our book, Rachel, I think you wanted to say a few things to our audience.
Yes. Welcome to the YouTube channel now. And so you guys will be noticing some changes, and we wanted to start off with announcements. So kind of like just some things to put on your calendar, some save the dates. So first off is we mentioned last week the Fill Your Pantry experience in Corvallis. It's an event on November 5th. We will be there. I will be there. Dr. Gilbert will be there. We're hoping some other members of Oregon Weight and Wellness will be there as well. And the whole idea is to purchase those food products from farmers, local producers, and you can fill up your pantry, especially on those things like dried goods, like dried beans, vegetables that keep much longer, like carrots, potatoes, onions, tubers, things like that. So, and then they also have meat vendors of different sorts. So there's lots of things to fill up on. That's on November 5th. And then we also want to announce that we have the holiday challenge coming up again this year. We've run it for the last 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So this is the third year in a row. It's the Thrive Holiday Challenge, and we'll have more information coming. But that's going to start the week of November 5th. Also, that same week is when we'll be kicking off. It'll be an 8-week challenge to get us through the holidays and to thrive through the holidays.
Yeah.
And then the final thing is that on YouTube, we need subscribers so that the channel can get out and broadcast a bigger audience and that people can find us. So if you're watching right now, could you hit subscribe and get us those numbers that we need so that the channel can get out there and we can help more people and get people listening on a regular basis to good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah. Thank you, Rachel, for that. That's great. I'm really looking forward to that holiday challenge. I mean, this will be the third time that we're running it, you're running it, but I'm joining it. And it's been so beneficial to me for the last 2 years, because I think we talked a little bit about, ending the year stronger.
Yes. Ending
the year stronger rather than like up 10 pounds or whatever. Yeah.
We do not have to fizzle out. We do not have to cross the finish line of the year like totally depleted, up in weight, feeling terrible. No, we can finish strong and start the new year a step ahead.
Right, a step ahead.
No resolutions to have to be made because you're already doing all the stuff.
That's right. Very good. Very good. Okay, so we're going to jump into, I think it's chapter 23, right? Yeah.
It is. Yes.
And Jess is going to join in our conversation. So tell us what his first point is, Rachel.
Okay, first point, eat the healthiest food first. So he's talking about, when you're sitting down to eat, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, the dish that you start with serves as an anchor food for the entire meal. So the part of your dish, if you can start there, you can anchor it. And so, what did you guys pull from this chapter?
Yeah, my first thought was how I feel when I get home from work. I am so starving that I feel like I could eat the whole kitchen, and I end up eating way more than I want to with foods that I didn't necessarily want to eat. So I thought of like setting myself up for success with having vegetables prepared for when I get home. I can fill up on those first, and then as I'm preparing my dinner, not be eating all these chips or things that are ready to go right away. So have these vegetables that are ready that can be munching on prior to dinner. And then it kind of fulfills that role of eating the healthiest foods first.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Jess and the foods that she brings here. It's not, she didn't run through fast food on her way. And there's nothing, we're in Jefferson, so there's nothing really close by, but she brings her lunch and then something to eat before she goes home, because you have like an hour drive. Don't you? Yeah. So, and it's all good, whole, real stuff. So that was another thing probably in your training for gymnastics, that you had to eat real food. Yeah. So that's kind of ingrained in who you are. Yeah. I was impressed with that. Yeah.
That's very cool. It's all about, if you're going to eat those vegetables, start with those vegetables. And he mentions that if you start with the carbs, the processed carbs, or the more starchy items to your meal, you're more likely to overeat and to continue to eat more of those foods. But if you fill up maybe on a glass of water and then start with your veggies, and kind of start the digestive process, start the filling up process, maybe move to your protein next, and save the worst for last, right? So if you're going to eat a roll or a piece of bread or some chips, eat those last. yourself, give yourself a chance here.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
set yourself up for success. I love what you said, Jess. Set yourself up for success by eating those other foods first. Start to feel fuller, and then you're just going to eat less of those things, and you won't
Right. That's exactly right.
be starving for it.
Yeah. It's not that you can't have dessert, but you're not going to start with dessert. Right. And then to your point, when you're filling yourself up with the foods that fill you up,
Yeah.
those nutrient dense foods that trigger the response in your gut that talk to your brain,
Yeah.
Protein, the vitamins and minerals from your vegetables, the fiber,
Yeah.
when you're filling your gut up with that, then you're 20, and you're eating slowly. 20 minutes into your meal, your brain is catching up with your stomach and your
Yes.
small intestine, and then have your dessert, and it's going to be naturally, because of satiety, is going to be, you're going to eat less of it.
Yeah. And you just won't be craving, or so kind of, we get chaotic, right, in our brain a little bit when it's been so long since we've eaten. I just did this for lunch. I practiced this. I made a bean, vegetarian burrito, and I had, I think just what you said was really important. It's got to be prepped. The bag of potato chips is prepped and ready for you.
Yeah.
Right? All those things are quick and easy to grab, but veggies and some chopped things. So I have chopped red cabbage, and I have chopped bell peppers ready to go.
Yeah.
I grabbed those, put them on my plate, started to prepare my burrito, but I munched those the whole time while eating my food.
Right.
And I ate half my burrito, and I was just like, wow, that worked. It
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah.
So
You had your vegetable hors d'oeuvre.
I had my vegetable hors d'oeuvre.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's great. That's awesome. All right. What's his next point?
All right. Number 2, he says the right way to get high. So we're talking about getting high, y'all. Let's get a little high on life, though, shall we?
Yes.
Exercise. So we've heard about this, right? Exercise endorphins, or the runner's high. And a lot of people say, yeah, I don't get that. I don't know what you're talking about, Rachel. And he speaks to that. He says, oh, well, that's because you haven't worked out hard enough. So walking is wonderful. Great. We should do it. And it can feel good, and we get lots of mental health benefits. But when you're looking for that high, and they are the endocannabinoids.
Yes. Yes.
Cannabis, that sounds like cannabis. Okay. So I think receptors, those don't really kick in until we've hit that. There's a threshold he talks about, the ventilatory threshold, where you're getting hard to breathe. So we've got to get this high. We've got to be exercising to the point of like really sort of puffed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's a little bit hard to carry on a conversation.
Yeah.
When you're doing whatever you're doing. And then to that, I would add, to those people who, aren't ever crazy about moving their body, just think about what you did when you were a kid. I mean, because kids play naturally. I mean, you don't have to tell a kid to, run around. I mean, maybe today's kid in today's world, we got to pull them away from the television and the video games and stuff like that. But most of the time, naturally, kids just do fun things and run around and jump in. And so what did you do when you were a kid that you really enjoyed? And Rachel, I got to tell you something. So when I was a kid, I played tennis, and I loved it. And, I got, okay, pretty good. I played in high school. I actually played in college, but I wasn't as rigorous as Jess here.
But you're pretty good.
Nah, I wasn't that.
Okay. You were.
Yeah. So in the spirit of doing fun things and getting that high, so I'm not playing tennis necessarily, but I've just picked up pickleball.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I want my husband to do it with me, because that's fun for me. That's going to give me those endorphins. So I set up a pickleball court we have a big concrete pad, and so I set up a pickleball court, and I hogtied my husband and said, "You're playing with me." Anyway, he's having fun too, and he's figuring out ways to really outline the court. So, because he wants to know what's the kitchen, and what are the rules here, and so anyway, we're having a lot of fun with that.
That
Yeah,
is
so
awesome.
a lot of endorphins.
Way to- And pulling what you like already, what you've always liked, into the current. That's
Yeah.
huge.
Mhm. Yeah, that's right. So very good.
Very good.
All right. Next.
Third point, sleep your way to a new day. So this is really interesting. He's talking about our rapid eye movement, or REM,
Mm.
and what it does for us, and that if we have a lousy day, that we should plan on sleeping to help us process those negative emotions. So during REM, our memories are being reactivated.
Mm.
We are our brain puts it into perspective. It's connecting and integrating, but in a state where our neurochemicals are suppressed. So we're re-experiencing the memories during sleep, but not in an emotionally connected state.
Yeah.
And so we don't have that neuro stress. And so he talks about getting sleep and making sure you're getting that REM sleep will help you process tough things, tough emotions. My mom always used to say to me, everything is better in the morning. Fresh comes to the morning, right? Like, go to sleep. I think there's a Bible verse about that, actually.
His mercies are new every morning. Yeah.
Thank you.
Lamentations.
Yes. So I always knew, like, if I'm going to bed crying and sobbing, my life is terrible, as a youth. And it was true. Every morning I would wake up and it would be like, oh, yeah, it wasn't so bad. I'm better. And I just, you have a fresh perspective and you're not so emotionally connected to it and in the moment feeling raw about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's just, it's fun to learn about what is actually happening in sleep so we can up the value. So we can really value, protect, and draw boundaries. Shoot, I want to be able to do that when I sleep. So I need to get that sleep.
Right. Yeah. And Jess and I, we were talking earlier about, how maybe you've experienced this personally, but then it's kind of cool. What were you saying about the MRI?
Yeah. Like, I feel like I've totally experienced that. For example, like if I have a tough conversation, me and my boyfriend are long distance. We get into a conflict on the phone. I feel so emotional at night. And then I wake up in the morning and I kind of reprocess it. And I'm like, wow, it's kind of being dramatic. Like, I feel way better and more level-headed now processing it. And then I was like, didn't click it, but reading the chapter, it's like, oh, there's actually science to back up why I feel better in the morning. And I'm like, okay, that kind of clicks and makes me aware of I need sleep to better emotionally process things in my life.
Right. Yeah.
Isn't that fantastic? I just love when you can see science come alive and you've experienced it yourself. You don't need to know a research paper to know that that's true because you've experienced it, and that feels so good. And it just kind of confirms what you know.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. All right. Well, Rachel, it's Thursday. What do you have? What's for dinner?
Well, so I ate my dinner for lunch just now. The leftover burritos I had made last night. So, I'm gonna have to think on the fly here. It's not my favorite to cook, and we're kind of eating our way through the pantry and the fridge. We're kind of emptying out, like we're low on supplies. Let's put it that way. More creative and eating on the frozen veggies and things that I've pre-cooked and prepped in the freezer. So maybe what I'll do, I have a couple of frozen leftovers that I've like some soups and stews and things. So I think I'll pull one of those out.
Those are always great. So I mean, it's such a good thing to bring up, Rachel, because when you're making a soup, you might as well make just a little bit more so that you can put it, in your container and freeze it so that for days like today, when, you ate what you were going to have for dinner, it's right there for you.
Yes.
It's right there for you. Yeah.
And I do that every time I make something like big like that, like a soup or a stew or a chili. Before my husband can get to it, and he eats a lot, I siphon off, like, oh, look at this, I'm squirreling it away. But I really do. I'm like, before he knows. I get a container and I put at least a serving for me and a serving for him. Like at least one full dinner, I know for sure. Yeah. And I love opening my freezer and seeing those in there because on a night like tonight, I'm going to be pulling one of those out and I'm going to be thinking that past version of me who squirreled it away.
Yeah, so. Good for you. You're going to, give yourself. That's right. How about you?
What's for dinner, you guys?
For dinner,
what did you bring today in all your?
So I bring 2 meals here so I'm not overly hungry when I get home. But I had Greek yogurt with frozen fruit. So when I put it in the refrigerator, it kind of softens up and then I can stir the juice in with some granola. had
And that
that.
makes it nice and sweet. So
Mhm.
is it? Oh, it's plain Greek yogurt.
Yeah, plain non-fat Greek yogurt, which tastes gross, honestly. Alone. So
So
you add in, yes.
Hey, don't yuck my yum, Jess.
But it tastes good when you add natural, healthy fruit.
It really does.
And the juice elements, you can mix it in,
Mhm.
yes. And then I brought whole wheat pasta with chicken and tomato sauce.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
So
Very
that's
good.
my
And then
next meal.
Mhm. And then dinner is still.
Yeah, I'll probably do like a turkey sandwich.
Mhm.
I like the Ezekiel bread.
Mhm.
I feel like when it goes moldy out of the refrigerator, you know it's fresh.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And then add some veggies on there, onion, spinach, guacamole. It's really good.
Yay. Yay. All right. And we're going to do leftovers. Kenny he made some salmon. So I was kind of in there prepping. We're going to make a salmon salad. So I don't like rewarmed fish. I don't know. Yeah. So, but I like cold fish. And then I have I put onion and celery, and I did 2 kinds of cabbage. And then I will also put, our fermented pickles in there. Yeah. Just to give it a little zing.
Yes.
So, yeah. So that's great. So that's what we'll do. Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Very good.
All different options here. All different ideas for
Mhm.
dinner. Yeah. Love it.
Very good. All right. Well, thanks so much for your time today.
You.
And like us, subscribe, right? And
I'm sure it's down there somewhere.
somewhere.
That's what everybody does, right? They're always like, subscribe, hit the button, whatever. Find it. Do that thing. Thanks.
All right. Thanks. Stay healthy, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.